Welcome back to Interpreting the Scares!
That's right, we're back at it on a month-long journey through the nightmares, and once again traveling to a film that I've never seen or even heard about before. And this is an example of a film that came out of my favorite film festival, Fantasia. This film is Starry Eyes. Starry Eyes essentially follows a young woman with a desperate dream of one day becoming a famous actress. When a big Hollywood production company agrees to have her audition for them, it doesn't seem like it's gonna work out until they ask her to do questionable things in return for fame and fortune. The deeper she goes down that rabbit hole, the more she begins to notice a physical change in her mind and body. So this one's weird. Somewhere in the film lies an incredibly brilliant metaphorical idea about the evils of Hollywood and capitalism and the power of the elite, and how it's a physical manifestation of the ideas of what happens for actors and actresses that leave their old lives behind to pursue something like that. Like how you have to sever ties with people that you love sometimes to follow your dreams. Well, in this, that's much more of a physical, tangible thing that she has to do, and of course, the stereotypes of sleeping your way to the top. It's all there in this film, personified in a way that I do think is smart, genius even. But I don't know, I didn't love the movie. It is horror though, and I think that that's the problem. This is a story with an idea that needs to be heard and talked about, and the approach it takes with metaphors is honestly smart, but the horror aspect does kind of drown it all down and make the entire movie just weird. At the same time, the practical effects for the gore of the film is phenomenal. The entire third act is just filled with insanity, and to be fair, the metaphors come to a head in that third act, and it is great, but it takes forever to get there. If you look at the plot summary on the movie websites like IMDb, it essentially tells you nothing about the movie other than what essentially needs to happen at the end. So I won't tell you what that says, though anybody curious about watching the movie will probably read it, as I did before I saw the movie. That's the reason why I added it to my Interpreting the Scares event this year. It sounded amazing, and parts of it were, but parts of it weren't so good. In fact, this was an example of a film that tries really hard to be great, which does help it, but one thing that it also had was pretty awful acting, particularly from the Hollywood elite. Our lead actress, Alex Esso, was the standout here as far as performances go. I believed her desire to be a famous actress and her frustrations when things never go her way. She was very good at what she did. The Hollywood elite are portrayed as overly stuck up and unhuman. And I suppose some of that was the point, but they took it too far. When you have the main auditioning guy talk like this, and he looks like this most of the time, I didn't buy it. Or the auditioning girl. She looks like this the whole time. She just looks like she's about to fall asleep. And she has literally no emotions other than this. I just didn't buy it. Again, part of the point was to make the Hollywood elite this separate entity and completely unrelatable because they're demonic or something, but there's a way to do that properly. This was not that. This was just kind of funny in a way that they didn't intend to be funny. And everybody on the Hollywood elite side of the argument was noticeably bad, but everybody in the main character's group of friends was mostly believable and relatable. So in general, I love when films try so hard to approach a deeply important topic like this in a metaphorical manner. I think that there's a lot of possibility there that has yet to be explored, and this was definitely an interesting one. I love the idea at the heart of the film, but I think that they went a little bit overboard with the themes of horror, drowning out what could have been. In other words, it's missed potential. Great use of practical effects, though, for the gore enthusiast. I think that if you are a fan of horror, that there's certain elements in this film that you can appreciate, but I do not think that anybody could consider this perfect because it does run into issues no matter who you are. My unbiased or technical score for Starry Eyes is a fairly decent 74% for its genius concept and clever use of practical effects. The score was brought down by some bad acting. My bias score is found at 56% because it was a movie that lost my interest here and there, as I found it to be a film with some missed potential. It ultimately didn't follow a path that I would have preferred to see, and I found the greatest aspects of the film to be drowned out by too much horror. When we combine those two scores together, 74 and 56, we wind up with a final rating for Starry Eyes, which is 65%, 65 out of 100 possible stars, or a letter grade of C+ on my letter grading spreadsheet. So, because I sorted all these movies this month in an overall ascending popularity, and because my score was significantly worse than the other movies that I saw this month, I do not agree that this movie should be more popular than the other ones. Maybe that just means that the others are hidden gems. Who knows? Guys, have you seen Starry Eyes? If so, I want to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!